Hello everyone, welcome to Design Print. This is a channel where we explore exciting world of graphic design. My name is Emil and I'm thrilled to be here with you today. Today I'm going to share to you the process how I created this beautiful, amazing billboard. Okay, so we're going to follow it step by step and I'm going to show you exactly how I created this. Okay, so it's going to be one hell of a ride. We're going to spend some time. So let's dive right into it without wasting any further time. Why designing a billboard? There's certain things you have to consider before we move forward. Okay, designing a billboard, especially in Photoshop, requires careful consideration of various graphic design concepts to ensure an effective and visually appealing result. Here are some key concepts you should consider. Okay, we have purpose and we have number 2, hierarchy. We have to establish a visual hierarchy to guide the viewer's attention. So we use colors, placements to emphasize initial elements, such as the headlines or call to action of our billboard. We also have number 3, which is contrast. Create contrast between different elements to make them stand out. This can be achieved through variations in color, size, font, and imagery. Contrast helps grab attention and improves readability. So why don't you use that? Okay, without any further ado, let's just start. Create a new document. You need to use the dimension 287. That's for the width. I'm working in centimeters, and then the height is 94. Okay, before doing this, I had to go to the my client place, and took the dimension of our board. Okay, she has a board, and I had to measure the board for the to this dimension. Okay, 287, but I'm going to round it up to 287 by 94. Then I'll slightly reduce the resolution. Okay, yes, I don't want to use a high resolution, so it's a big board. I don't want my machine to freeze. So the first thing I did was creating rulers. Okay, guides. Okay, I have to create vertical and horizontal guides to help me so I don't exceed my borders while designing. Right, so it's very easy. The top one, you just have to drag top, put it down. So it's very easy. The top one, you just have to drag top, put it down. Same thing, I have to drag top and put it down right here. Okay, so once you're done with this, as I always approach any of my designs, what I do is I always start with my typography. Okay, import my text. I have to import elements into my designs. That's the first thing I always start with. Okay, I'm going to put this to black so we'll be able to see since it's a white artboard. So the name of this brand is EJ Love. Yeah, EJ Love Skincare. EJ Love. So I start by doing EJ Love. Okay, I have to close my text box a little bit. Okay, I just have to duplicate. I just duplicate the text. I'm just trying to position this so it works. See how it looks on the design. The amount of spacing is going to take. I think this looks good at the moment. So I'm going to just import another text, change the font type to Mon. Okay, I'm going to use Poppins. Now let me use Montserrat. I use Montserrat here. I'm going to use Montserrat for this. So I'm going to type skincare. I'm going to change the font size. Let me change the font size to 80. You can use any font size of your choice, but yes, these are just basic, simple things you do when you import any text. You have to make sure you have to create hierarchy, because you want to establish a visual hierarchy to guide the viewer's attention. So we use size, we use color, we use placement to emphasize essential elements. Okay, and now this is the headline of the design. EJ Love Skincare. It's one of the headlines of the design. It's the brand. So this is the size. Okay, I'm trying to emphasize this with the size. Okay, so I've used Montserrat light. I'm going to change that to bold, and I also make sure it's really visible. I'm going to change that to bold. Skincare, one word right there. So we have Age Love Skincare. I'm going to close Artboard a little bit. So when I'm working out, I can easily select some items on the design. So when I'm working out, I can easily select some items on the design. Okay, I'm going to duplicate. I'm using the command Alt-Z to duplicate. Yeah, Alt-Z. So I just duplicate that text. What I do here is type the caption of the brand. If you type the caption of the brand, just extend this so you can see the Beauty Empire Laser and Spa Specialist. That sounds beautiful. Beauty Empire Laser and Spa Specialist. So I'm going to work on the font size. Remember, hierarchy is very important, right? Guys, hierarchy is very important. What do you want people to see first? Okay. Yes, the guides to viewers' attention. So we have this. I'm going to place this. I want this to be placed at the center of skincare. Feel free to explore anything even after. You can always come back after and change the position, change anything of the design. Okay, so always try as much as possible not to spend much time on one particular element. Always try to move to the next, because remember this, we're in a competitive field. You need to deliver, so you don't want to waste time when designing. We have our services. That's the next thing I'm going to type. Our services. I'm going to list them. So I'm going to use the font size popping here. Yes. Oh, try as much as possible. You don't want to be using a lot of fonts on your designs. Try to limit them. So you can use like 3 fonts. I've used just about 3 fonts here, I think so. The first one I use is called Great Vibes. The second one, Montserrat, and I'm using the poppins for our services. I think these 3 fonts are good. Okay, and these fonts that I choose are very clear. They are really clear. Always try on your design, especially billboards, to choose fonts that are clear, readable, and appropriate for the message and brand. See, avoid using too many fonts as it can create confusion and reduce legibility. So I urge you guys to always try to limit yourself to 3 fonts. So I just want to list them. I'm going to use a single text box for these all the items here. Yeah, I always use a single text box for these items. When you make skincare products, you have cosmetic. So these are the services that this brand offers. It does organic skincare products, cosmetic, facial wash, teeth whitening, and so forth. This. Okay. My text box is getting smaller. I have to extend this. Body wash. I think there's the one last one. I have to pull this down. I type. So that's good. Just validate this. Then I have to work on. Just validate this. Then I have to work on position and the size for everything. Okay. This is why typography is so important in design. Okay, you have to choose fonts that are clear. Okay, this, what next? I think it's looking good. We have to go through the design, make sure there are no spelling errors, very important. It's a billboard, right? You want to print, it's really big, you want to print, and then you realize that you have an error, so always check. And when you're done designing, still check, preprint, right? So designing, still check, preprint, right? So we have this. Now I'm going to import, I'm going to bring in a rectangle. Let me first of all bring an ellipse for my bullets. So that's the first one. I'm just going to leave it here like this. I'm just going to copy that later on into the tape. So the size of this is the heading, right? So it has to be bigger, right? Remember what I told you about hierarchy, guys. It's very important. Our services. I want this to be center aligned for skincare. So I'm going to pull this to the left. I'm going to bring this to the left so everything here is centered aligned. Okay, I'm going to pull this with the mouse like this. Amazing. Okay, now the next thing I did was to import. I'm going to do now is import my rectangle, right? Import my rectangle. So I pull it down beneath that text. I'm using layers. Okay, definitely we have a lot of layers. You can always group. I'll just change the color to red so you'll be able to see, or any color, so you can be able to see, because my text is black on black, nothing will be visible. So now what I did here was curve the edges. Okay, just since the edges are linked, you just pull one of them, then everything else to do all that detailing. In here, what I did now is just to make sure that everything is placed the right position. So I'm going to make sure that the font size here is it's not too big, right? Beauty Empire still has to be visible, guys. Remember, it has to be visible. Okay, because there's a purpose of this design, there's a purpose of the billboard, right? It's a message that I want to deliver while designing this billboard, or after designing the billboard. So I have to make sure that while designing, I follow all my principles. So at this point, I'm just trying to place everything to have a better typography. Once that better typography, you work with spacing, limit, you create spacing, right? Because remember, I have to import pictures on the board, so I have to make sure that I don't use a lot of space for unnecessary stuff. So this, I'm going to make sure it's okay. We're going to duplicate this, and right now I'm trying to type the phone number, the contact details, right? We have the phone number and we have the email address. So I'm just going to type any phone number, anything. I don't know if this number exists. I'm just typing anything. Okay, just type anything, key anything on the keyboard. Now these are confidential information. What we do here is I'm going to type. We'll use the font size, right? It's too big. But visually you see that it's like dominating. Use the font size, right? It's too big. But visually you see that it's like dominating the services and everything on the design. The content is very important as well. But I'm going to scale it a little bit down to about 120. What I did, I just need to duplicate this. I'm using the command RD. The command RD to duplicate. Okay. Stay spacing, very important. I'm using the command RZ to duplicate. Okay, so no matter the font size that you use in your design, guys, always try to make sure that readability is one of the concepts that you have to put in mind when designing such adboards, such billboards, right? Provide clear contrast against the background. So for now, I'm just using black. I'm just going to use black. Yes. And next thing I'm going to do, let's put that to medium. I've used plugins. Yeah, I told you 3 fonts, good to go. Now I have to import my icons. Okay, because imagine you typing like call or phone number. Okay, it takes more space than those icons, so I just have to import icons to limit space. I mean, who doesn't like to use an icon? I love using icons, and they're very easy. You can go on Google, you can get all these icons for free. They're all over the internet. So I'm just going to browse to my PC, search this drive. Okay, I'll find the board. Now the call icon. There we go. Carry and drop. 10. Windows 10. So I'm going to scale this a little bit down. Make sure that it's not really big. I don't want it to be too big. Good. Okay, how to use my alignment. This is center to my phone number. Make sure that it's centered to the phone number. It mustn't be centered. I just decided to make it centered in this case. Okay, so yeah, it looks good. I'm going to try to position this a little bit right. Take this a little bit. Now I'm exiting my borders, right? We'll solve that later. So let me import the email icon. Scale this down. Validate. Now I have to bring this. Validate. Now I have to bring this to position. But now I've discovered that there's border, white border. Okay, this is background. So I have to take that off. It's a white background. I'm just going to use my selection tool, right? My quick selection tool. And you can see here that it's a white. It's not a PNG file, so I'm going to just select that. Okay, rasterize that file so it becomes editable. Then I delete the background. So I have to do the same here, the same thing. Rasterize so it becomes editable. Select the portions that you want to delete, the white portions. Okay. Okay. Still there. Let me select. Okay. I'm going to select them one after the other, guys. One after the other. Delete. So what I'm doing is I just click on the delete key on the keyboard, right? And select. I click on the delete key on the keyboard. Now we have that. Perfect. So I'm going to try to position this to the left. We have some space there, right? I'm trying to use that space. Okay, always try in your design, try to make use of spacing. Spacing very important. You don't want to limit the use of spacing, then you print, then some things are not visible. Meanwhile, there was some space, you did not use them. Why keep them without using? Okay, that's good. I think that's good at the moment. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is import the logo. The name of the brand is Love Skincare. Okay, that's the logo. Green. Yeah, so under this logo we have Intelor skincare. So I'm just going to bring this to the right of this design. Then now the logo has come in, so I have to also try to work on my alignment here, how I'm going to align this. Yeah, very important. Okay, I'm going to pull this. Yes, I have to pull this a little bit so that the logo stays on top of that shape. I'm going to pull this. Yes, I have to pull this a little bit so that the logo stays on top of that shape. Makes a lot of sense, right? Okay, once you're done, just let me bring this down a little bit. Okay, now we have align the center. Now you see everything is taking shape, right? Everything is taking shape. Especially when you have all your elements that you want to design on your board, it becomes easier for you to follow the concepts. So I'm going to import the next, which is the image. The image on the board. You know, image, very captivating. Imagery on billboards are very important. So what we do here is just use the quick. I'm going to use a quick selection tool. Okay, let me just go to select subject. So right now the subject is being selected. Wait, it's loading. Boom. Yeah. So now what I have to do is just I'm going to use the eraser to fine tune it. For now, let me just create the mask of this. Then I just smooth it a little bit. Feather a little bit, and I take OK. Next, I have to use my eraser. There's some tiny white spots there. I noticed that, okay, but I'm just going to brush a little bit there. Since I will make sure that I put it on a white background, so I won't spend time to clean this. I think it looks good. Looks good at the moment. I just have to take this, carry and drop, carry and drop. Okay. Carry and drop. Then what I have to do is make sure that I scale it position. Looks good. Looks good. Okay, validate. I'm going to click on the validation icon. Right now, it looks good. So this is just a basic way of how I approach my designs daily. Okay, so right now I have to import the next, which are the images. I have to start importing my images. Remember, the design has some images at the left. So I mean, this is a skincare brand. It's a skincare brand. So this is what sells on this design. These pictures, the pictures have to be visible, right? So it's all about skin, right? Program. This is all about skin. We are not promoting any event here or awareness. It's just all about skin. So I'm going to import these pictures. Then right now I have to do masking, right? An ellipse. So I just mask that into ellipse. It's very simple, guys. So you can see, you can always, okay, remember the image has to be above the ellipse, right? The image has to be above the ellipse. While you just take right click on the image, then you take mask. That's all. So I'm going to give a stroke to the mask, not the image, the stroke to the mask, and I'm going to give a color gradient. So I'm just going to give red, take that to red. Okay, try and switch, take this to a little bit of pink, pink. Okay, I'll always work on the colors later, but now let's just click OK. So we have this. That's the first idea. Okay, so what you do is that you import the image. Let me pull this a little bit to the left It's okay, looking good. Now import the next picture. How to import the next? And go to my folder. I'm importing the next picture, which is this one. Carry and drop into my scene. Foot massage. I mean, who doesn't love a foot massage? I don't love a foot massage. Like, I wish I would get one right now. Remember, the image has to be on top, because the image has to be on top. Let me just rename this to image 2 so I don't get confused why trying to place them above or beneath. So the image has to be above. You just right click, you take quick clipping mask. Okay, it has to be above the ellipse. So I'm going to place this here, scale it, make sure that it's always the same size. Yeah, this is not the most appropriate method, but I just do this. Normally under transform we have properties. You can always go there and input the width and the height of any shape or any design, any shape or element on the design. Okay, those are the properties. Under transform, under properties we have transform. So right now what I have to do is import the next picture. I mean, just the same process for the 4 pictures. For the next picture, I mean, just the same process for the 4 pictures that I'm going to repeat. So let's do this. Import. Ellipse. Make sure that the picture is above. Place it. It's masking, right? This is masking. You have to place the mask, the areas where you want it to be visible. Okay, the areas where you want it to be visible. So you place that mask and then you mask. Stupid mask. Wow, it's very straightforward to understand. So I'm going to scale this, bring this down. Validate. Link. I select the tool, I select the image, the mask, and the ellipse, and I click on the link. I right click and I take link the layers, so I can easily select them at the time and carry them anywhere on the artboard. Actually, while trying to place them is very important, guys. Very important. You don't want to struggle while trying to select items on your design. So I'm going to click, drag and drop, black with a pretty smile. So I'm going to use my ellipse. Get my ellipse, position it where I want it to be visible. So I'm going to take the image above the ellipse. So just name this image 4. So what I do is I just right click, take clipping mask. Clipping mask. So my image has been clipped. I have to scale this now. I'll link the layers and scale. Try to position this. Looking good. Validate. Okay. So now, actually, the reason why I did not create strokes is the other parts of the image is because you can always create. Once I'm satisfied with the color there, I can just copy and paste. Right? But yeah, I'm trying to use spacing. Okay, spacing or design. I want to make use of spacing. Why I increase the size of images so they become visible. Okay, so there's some part of the image that are not really necessary. It's a circle. I've clipped them with a circle and an ellipse, but there's a part of the industry. Yeah. So okay, so let's work on the colors, guys. Let's work on the colors. See, this is stroke. Okay, now there's a certain thing I'm trying to achieve here, which with this method using the stroke, okay, it's not really going to give me what I want. So what I'll do here is that I'm going to use another method. Okay, I'm going to use another method to achieve that. Let's see. I'm just going to delete the stroke. Let's use another method. Very simple but handy. So I'm going to create an ellipse. Created an ellipse. Right now, what I'll do is that I'm going to create the gradient overlay. This is the gradient overlay. Create the gradient overlay. This is the gradient overlay. Yes, gradient overlay. And I'm going to use that. These are my gradient palette that I've created. I mean, very simple: red, pink, and white. Okay, so there you go. So I'm going to duplicate this. Alt D to duplicate. Once I've duplicated, I'm going to make sure that it's just above that. Validate above. Right. So right now I'm going to select the gradient overlay of the first one on top. Then all I do is I rotate the angle to about 173 degrees. Okay, right now you see that it gives me a different version of the stroke, and with this I'm going to save some space here. Just watch and see. Very important, it has to be behind the image. Link that as well. Link the two shapes as well, two ellipses as well. So I have to make sure this is behind my image. Okay, but that for me to have anything in accordance with what we are trying to achieve here. Okay, there you go. That's the position. As I said earlier on, you can always group, you can always create groups, by designing to save you some time, right? So I'm just going to scale this at the center of this ellipse. Okay. Okay. So with this, it's looking pretty good. I like it. Okay. I love the way it's looking. So I'm just going to duplicate these two shapes. Alt Z, duplicate to the right. Just position it where you want it to be. About there. That's looking good. So I have to take this image above, guys. Let me just try to sort this out. Take this image above. Okay, this is the image 2. Cannot be above its own mask, right? Because it's not going to work. So take this above. Wow. There. Yeah. Okay. So there we have it. Now you see, it's coming out well, right? It's coming out well. So I'm going to scale the image so it fits well on my ellipse. Okay, good. Validate. It's looking good. Now we're going to bring this a little bit to the left. Okay, let's increase that a little bit. So as I said, that part of that image is not necessary, right? It's not. It's just a tree, but then I'm selling the face. I'm not selling the tree there, so I can always improvise to cover that. So I'm going to duplicate this ellipse, and I'm selling the face. I'm not selling the tree there, so I can always improvise to cover that. So I'm going to duplicate this ellipse. The same process, guys. Same process. You have to duplicate this ellipse. Right? You always duplicate. I don't know. You can't. You save a lot of time when you duplicate and use the same properties, use the same shapes, rather than bringing different shapes to to now save a lot of time. Okay, right now the next thing I'll do is placing this behind. Since these shapes are already behind that, I already carried all of them behind, so just have to put them behind, place them at the left, validate, position my image. I have to do the same for the last one. And for the last one, now you can see the amount of space that I've saved right here. This is very important. The amount of space that I've saved. So I can select everything after I'm satisfied with my positioning, and I scale them up. That's to increase sizes so they are really visible from a distance. Oh, it's looking good. You always try to keep your design simple, guys. This design is actually really good, but then it's very simple and straight to the point. I'll use effects, pictures, just elements everybody should use on a design. Okay, keep design simple. Just avoid clustering the billboard with excessive visuals or text that can overwhelm the viewer. So what I'll do here is scale this, try to make sure that all the elements are perfectly positioned. I spend a lot of time trying to position or align my properties on my design. Yeah, you can always use your alignment properties to do that. But I'm very sensitive when it comes to alignment. If your design is not, there's any aspect of the design which is not aligned right, I can easily spot it. So I always take my time to make sure that my stuffs are properly aligned from text to shapes. So I think it's looking good. It's looking good. So just have to select everything. And I've created a group, right, for these images. So here it's a little bit up. Okay, I think I have to scale it down a little bit afterwards. So let me just scale this down a little bit, guys. So we have spacing for our icons, for our bullets. We have circular bullets. I have to place them for our services. Okay, as I said, I spent time trying to align properties on my design. Yes, I spend time. I do that so often. So I'm using the underneath layers because I feel like this is not the right position. Select the ellipse, select the image and ellipse. But how we get it, guys. I think here I'm just trying to make sure that it becomes appealing to the eyes. Yeah, nothing fancy here, nothing. I just use two shapes, place one above the other, rotate the gradient, we'll create that beveling effect there, and I'm trying to position them at the right spot. That's what I did. So right now let me work on the let's work on the bullets. I decided to use simplicity, right? I decided to make it very simple. I'm using ellipse for my bullets. You can always use images, you can always add effects on the ellipse or anything. Yeah, we'll see in subsequent videos on how to do that, to use effects on them. But at this moment I'm just going to use black bullets. It's going to be very visible. Yeah, I think when we put our background we'll have to change the colors. For now, just create a folder for them. Then we just name them bullets. So I think the first part of the board, like I can see, like we will achieve almost everything on this board. right now we have to start thinking about effects. So this is just how I go about my design. I'm thinking now about effects and colors, right? Effects and colors. So I'm going to change this to yellow, services to yellow, then I'm going to change this to white, skincare to white. So normally before designing, you really know the color you want to use, the color of the brand, because there's certain aspect of the brand that you want to sell out. I think color should be the primary focus here. So I'm going to create the shape at the left. I use my pen tool. What I do is I click and drag. I mean, who doesn't know how to use a pen tool? It's very easy. Just click and drag, click and drag. Create the curvature. Click, drag to create curvature. Okay. So what you do is I click, drag. Then if there's any point like the part is too long and you want to delete that part, what you do is I just add and click on that same spot. I delete like this. Okay, so that's how I go about the shape. Use a pen tool. So that's how you create. Then when you create your shape, any shape, you can always edit that shape with the curvature tool, right? The curvature tool, now you click on those parts with the curvature tool, right? The curvature tool, now you click on those parts. And what you do is that on those points, what you do is that try to edit them. Okay, always click and pull like this. Click and pull to your desired. Because at times you use a pen tool, you don't have the desired shape, that intended. So what you do is that you just use your curvature tool and you click on you add points, and you can always delete points by clicking them and click on it, hitting the delete key on the keyboard. So that's how you achieve shapes, by using the pen tool and the curvature tool. I use the pen tool a lot. I can't design without using the pen tool because I must create shapes when I'm designing. Like when I'm using Illustrator, the same thing. If you are good, if you're familiar with Illustrator, if you're familiar with Illustrator, guys, is basically the same thing. Just click and drag, click and pull. Okay. So, but this aspect, what I'm trying to achieve here, what I'll do is that I'm going to, I think when you create a shape like this, there's certain aspect of curvature that I want here. Okay, I'm still trying to pull it so I have that curvature, certain level of curvature that I want here, and I want it to follow this circle. The circle, right? It has to follow the circle. It has to follow the circle. Okay. So let's just do this another way, guys. Let's do this. So what I'll do here is I'm just going to delete that part, delete it. I'm going to do it another way. Delete the part, the curvature. I'm going to create one side of that shape, just one side, right? Then I enclose other like this. Oh, let me delete that. It's too curvy. There, I want it to follow that circle, guys. I'm trying to achieve this. Follow the circle. Wow, looking good now. Looking good. So we have to delete that part. Yeah, not necessary. Click. Okay, that's good. So right now, this is what I wanted to achieve. I'm going to use. So as I said, you can always use your curvature. Right click, curvature pen tool. You at any point, right? You at any point. At any point. Right? You at any point. At any point. And you pull it, right? So I want something like that because I have to mask an image there, so I need to create space so someone can see. So your pen tool must not be exact on the first try. It must not be exact. All you do is you can always ease it. That's just the point here. You can always ease it. The pen your points. The same thing here on this cover to here to follow that spacing of that ellipse. So he has to follow this. It's looking good at the moment, guys. And now what I do is that I just have to duplicate this. Alt Z, duplicate. Once you're comfortable with this, you just duplicate the shape. Duplicate to the left, duplicate to the left. Then I have to change it. Let me just change the color to white, guys. Change it to white so you see that we already have something here. So this is the best method, best way to approach such shapes. We already have that white. Now you can always subtract. You can always subtract the shapes. But in this case, not necessary because I have to mask an image inside. So what I do here is that I have to create the one at the right, which is very simple. So I'm going to click pull, click at the bottom, and then while designing, make sure you use your speed, your timing, okay? Because you have to deliver this. You have other jobs you have to attend to. Make sure that you don't spend too much time on this design. Something that you can take, let's say about 1 hour, like maximum should be an hour. You're done with this. Okay, it all comes down to planning and preparation. So right now we are done with this, guys. So I think it's looking good. We already have, planning and preparation. Yeah, but it's what brought us here. So let's see. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to create one nice, change the color. Okay, I'm still going to duplicate this. Right, so this is how you achieve like a wavy pattern, right? So this is how you achieve like a wavy pattern, right? So I'm going to duplicate this, change the color. I don't think I'm changing the sheet, right? Color sheet. So have that way. You see how it's coming out, right? So now we see have that shape there. We make it handy, we make it useful because there we can always mask image, we can always put anything inside. So it's really handy. So I'm just trying to position, make sure that everything is well positioned. Okay. So what I do is I'm going to import my background. So it's just a rectangle, right? The rectangle for my background. Then I have to change the color. I'm going to use a gradient color for the background. You can try any background, but then this is how I approach this design. This is how I approach this design for the personal image. What I did, I created the background myself. I created this. Okay, we're not going to use red, right? We're not using red. I'm using that pink color. What I do here is that I'm just going to go to, but I'm going to use a gradient, so I have to give gradient overlay. Okay, I'm going to use gradient overlay. Just go to functions, gradient overlay. So I'm going to give two colors here, right? It's very simple, pink and white. So I have to select this, click on this. Now this one is just click those points and delete them. I don't need those points there. Delete. So I have 2 points, pink and white. So what I do now is I just have to position them where I want it to be and how I want it to be, something like that. Okay, looking good. Okay, I'm going to bring this to the right so we have a shape covering the border of the image. It's looking good. Okay, so the shape has to be above the image, right? And it has to be behind the contacts. The contact, I think, yeah, you can see. So I'm going to rename that so that I can see when I'm bringing this down. So the shape has to be behind the contact. So let's bring that down. Let's bring that down. So I'm just going to take these two up. Wow, that's it above. Basically above. So what we have to do now is, okay, make sure that everything is okay. The right shape. I mean, adjusting layers are very important in design. I mean, or using layers are very important in design. You can't work without using layers. Everything cannot be in a single layer, right? Or in a single folder. It becomes very difficult. So always make sure that you use folder behind the shape. So I want the icon to be above the shape. It has to be above. So I think that set and done. Okay. Now the last thing I have to do is bring the name of the brand above our background. The name of the brand above our background. Take that top. It's looking good. Okay, so right now I'm just going to change color so you see how they look on the design. We have white. Okay, so I working on the edge off. So right there, all I have to do there is select the name, apply effect, drop shadow, drop shadow. Work on the drop shadow. I want the size to be something around 98 distance strength. Now you can always change them to your desired properties. So I do have just work on the drop shadow. Okay, the angle is at 90. Yeah, it's kind of too black to cartoonish. So I'm going to bring work on it a little bit. Okay, now the next thing I have to do is to create a gradient overlay for my shape underneath the skincare. So yeah, I'm going to use green. I want to use green. Okay, and what you do is that you take green, like dark green, lighter green, then dark green. So you want the light to be at the middle. The lighter green should always be at the middle. The lighter color should be at the middle. Like not always, but in this case at the middle. Then you have the green, the two darker greens at the edges. Voila. So just make sure you work on the green. It should be more appealing. It should create good contrast on your design. And remember, you have the logo. You saw that I have to pick a color from the logo, a green from the logo. Then I'm trying to tweak it a little bit. So you make sure that you don't use a lot of colors in your design as well. Okay, you make sure that you use a lot of colors on your design, because color schemes are very important, right? While designing, always select a color scheme that is visually appealing, okay, and consistent. While designing, always select a color scheme that is visually appealing, okay, and consistent with your brand or message. So I'm going to change this to white. Okay, change this to white. Then normally I have to change this to white. My icons, I have to put everything white. Don't send it. You change the color if you want. Yeah, especially on the icons, you can change the color. But yeah, I just prefer white on the pink. I can also add effects. It's always good to add effects. But yeah, I'm just going to keep it simple, white. Like the same way we added effects on the rectangle for skincare, the same way you can add it on the ellipse. Nice. So you just go to under your effects properties and you assign any effects there. Something like the bevel I always use on my bullets. So that is going to link the layers. Okay, the design is coming out good, the colors coming out good, right? So what I have to do now is to work on UJ love. Let's see. Okay, I just looking good now. Okay, the next thing I have to do is to import my images. Okay, I have to start importing images to beautify my background. Remember, I created the background myself. So what I do is let me just locate my folder where I have backgrounds. This is the first one I'm going to bring is the lady, the face massage. It's a face massage. It's face wash or face massage. Anyways, let's get back to designing. So you just drop this, and what we do here is that I have to create a mask. Okay, it's very simple. You drop your image. The image can be anywhere, but it should not be above your text, right? Above the text means the text is going to hinder, obscure the text. So what you do is that you just have to be above the background. Yeah, I can just put it just above the background. Then what you do here is you mask. Okay, you just carry it, you drop it inside the mask icon while holding the alt key on the keyboard. So basically the white is for visibility, what you want to see, then the black is to hide where you don't want to see. Yeah, so when you drop, nothing is shown with a mask. Yeah, so when you drop, nothing is shown with a mask. Then now I'm just scaling this down so that position at the right position. You can see everything coming to order on the design. Okay, so we are almost done now. So I'm going to use my white. You select the mask. Remember, you always select the mask. Okay, so layer, I always select the mask. Then you use the white and the black. So I'm going to change that to multiply. So it multiplies on the background. And what I have to do next, I'm going to use the other image. Carry and drop. Remember guys, if you're using Windows 11, I don't think there's carry and drop. Carry and drop. Remember guys, if you're using Windows 11, I don't think there's carry and drop. Or if there's any, please leave down right on the comment section how it's been done, because when I'm working on Windows 11, I find it difficult to carry and drop. Okay, carry and drop does not work on Windows 11, so I'm using Windows 10, so I just carry and drop. So let's see, I'm going to select this. What I want to do is I want to mask that white tool, that white position, right? So here what I'll do is that I'm going to make sure that it just start at the right position. It has to be at the right position. Okay, it has to be at the right position. I think here it's preferable I just create a clipping mask, right? You just create a clipping mask, select that shape, drop that image, then you create a clipping mask, rather than using the layer mask. So All I'll do is that I'm just going to select this, create a clipping mask, but now it's not the right position. And always remember, you can always, before you import your image, right, always select the shape where you want it to be above. I'm going to select that. You see, I selected the shape, and I'm going to carry and drop, and you can see that it's right above that shape that I selected. So with that, it's very easy for you to just, what I do is I just select, rotate the image, now just right click and create a clipping mask. So you can always select that image itself and position it right where you want it to be, right? And you can always mask any image inside that shape. Yeah, an image. But now there's a rhythm. I'm trying to follow a rhythm here. So okay. Looking awesome. Right now the next thing I have to do is import the image. This image, because I have some particles that I really love that I wanted to blend this on the background itself. So I select the background and I carry and drop. You see that we are just repeating the same process all over and over. This is what like you see in front of the computer. Okay, so I'm trying to see that the images are importing, they have the same color sheets. So it's a brand, right? You're trying to make sure that the colors that you use should not really differentiate from the brand. Okay, so incorporate your brand elements. Even the logos is a green, and also green on the design. Okay, so it's consistency. That's what makes a design unique. Consistency all the time. So I have this now. I don't have to brush at the edges. Good. Now what next? It's looking good, right? Okay, so remember I told you I just want mostly the particles there, the way they blend with the background, then they fit the way inside the background, so it looks good. So the next thing I have to do now is to work on this. I'm going to import this image as well this way. Normally we have the image, you always copy, but this I just import because it really matters. I have to copy on mass, and then that's a process. So using the same image, what I do is I just bring it back, select and bring, save me time. So what I do is I just click, pull that a little bit to the right, not this one. Okay, so I'm going to pull that image, not the title. Okay, somewhere around here. So you see that there's a rhythm I'm creating with this curvy background, right? So I'm going to mask. So you see that there's a rhythm I'm creating with this curvy background, right? So I'm going to mask. Then I use my white to reveal the areas that I want to be visible on the design. So you just brush, and you can always change the brush type, the brush hardness. That's the way that we brush if you want. So you just right click, right? You just right click when the brush being selected. You just right click. You are going to see that you have brush properties where you can edit your brush. Okay, I'm just using a very soft brush here, and you see it's coming out perfectly well. Okay, let's make sure that when you mask an image, you always brush at the edges, right? The black, you always hide the edges because the edges tend to be visible, like most of the times. So the design is coming out well, guys. Like, so then the last thing to do now is to import a goal. A goal is just an image that I use. You can always create a goal yourself, but yeah, I'm going to use this image, and then what I do is that I just take that where I want it to be, that shape. I just create my clipping mask. Isn't that awesome? So I just have to select the image, rotate, position the image where I want it to be, right? So I'm going to pull this down and I lock it. So I don't select it because I don't want to select the gold anymore. Right, the same thing that I have to do. I have to import the same gold, right? So what I'm trying to do is that I have to add the drop shadow, right? So what I'm trying to do is that I have to add the drop shadow. Let's first of all import, select the shape. Remember to always select the shape first. Import image. Now what I do is I just rotate this gold to where I want it to be, and take that, right click, create clipping mask. Okay, position it. So this is looking good at the moment, guys. Okay, I've used a lot of masks, a lot of images to achieve this background. So we're almost there. So I'm just add a drop shadow, okay, to give it more depth. You know, the edges are too sharp, so I'm going to apply a drop shadow on at the edges. You can always, it's currently at 90. You can always change the angle. You can change the angle to like make it slant to the left or the right. Preferably, I prefer the right, slant to the right. So in this case is 90. I'm just going to click OK. Okay, then I'm going to go to the right, select functions, drop shadow, effects, drop shadow, functions, the same thing, right? So we validate. Wow, isn't this amazing? So you can see from here, now you just have to go through the design, or when you're done, make sure that everything is perfectly well. Like, yeah, I just have to add a drop shadow, sorry, a stroke. I have to add a stroke. I don't want a gradient, I want a white stroke. Click white. Okay, reduce the size to like 10. It's okay. So now I'll just click on the drop shadow for it to be more visible. Reduce the drop shadow. Then okay, validated. I just have to copy. Right click, copy, layer properties, so layer styles. You click on the where you want to apply. Then you just right click and you take what, paste, layer styles. So that's basically how you approach designs like this. This kind of process I use in almost all my designs. Okay, be it flyer, mostly flyers, right? Printable designs like this. This is what I achieve. So I'm going to make sure that they go through the design. Everything should be visible, guys. Also make sure you go through your design and ensure everything is visible, because testing and proofing is very important, you know, before finalizing the design. Preview it and okay, preview the design and make sure that everything is. That is it, guys. We have come to the end of this fantastic tutorial. I just want to say thank you for watching this video on print design, and if you enjoyed this content, I want you to stay updated with our latest videos. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, okay, because we regularly share tips, tutorials and inspiration to help you enhance your design skills. So feel free to connect with us on Instagram, okay, as we regularly share behind the scenes contents. And look up, subscribe, hit the notification button for the next video. You don't want to miss it. Thank you. Ciao.